Welcome to this series of tips on how to answer common interview questions. In this video, we will consider how to answer behavioral and competency interview questions. Competency and behavioral interview questions have become the dominant type of question for many of the world's leading companies. Amazon recruiters only ask competency questions in their opening interviews, and many others simply tell you when they invite you be ready to answer this type of question. Competency-based interview questions are phrased in several ways. However, they normally start with words such as, "Tell me about a time when," "Talk me through a situation when," or "Describe a situation when." These are often the questions that determine which candidates are selected. The aim of these questions is to give the candidate a chance to explain something that has actually happened in the past and demonstrate their skills, achievements, and ability. These questions can often be anticipated and prepared in advance. Preparation and practice is critical to maximize chances of success. The STAR interview structure is important to understand and use. Companies expect an answer in the STAR structure as shown here. Situation: what was the situation? Task: what were you expected to do? How and what challenges did you face? Action: what you did and how did you do it? Result: what did you achieve? Measured by what and what value was it? When explaining the result, try and use numbers to quantify your actions, for example. Reduced waste by 10% resulting in an increase of profits by 5%. Another example could be reduced coding errors by 20%, which resulted in launching the product 4 weeks early. Now let's consider how to answer a behavioral or competency question. Many companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, and Nestle will let you know when they are inviting you to be ready to answer this way, and others will just expect you to know. Situation: 2 to 3 sentences, up to 60 words, 15% of the answer. Task: 2 to 3 sentences, up to 60 words, 15% of the answer. Action: 6 to 10 sentences, 180 to 250 words, 55% of the answer. Result: 2 to 3 sentences, up to 60 words, 15% of the answer. In most answers, the situation and task are not within your power, so the hiring manager will not be impressed by them. Be careful to summarize and move to the action. The action is the critical section, as that is what you did and what the hiring manager will be buying if they select you, so make sure this is the main part of your answer. The result is important as the hiring manager will want to understand the impact of the action and how you evaluate the value of your action. Most job advertisements give ideas on the roles and responsibilities of the position. This means likely behavioral and competency questions can be anticipated and prepared. Employers want to hear about how you have done things in the past to see if that matches how they would like the successful applicant to do it. Here is a model answer to the question, "Tell us about your greatest achievement." Situation: whilst I was working as product manager at Zerco, we were asked to create a new app for one of the company's largest customers using new software and integration tools. Task: we were expected to convince the customer we could deliver a great product within 4 weeks, otherwise the customer would talk to our competitor about making it. Action: we decided to make an MVP using feedback from the product manager. We understood the key requirements for convincing the customer and focused on them, nothing else. To understand both the software and integration, I arranged for 2 engineers to get some training from a tech lead in another division of the company. We ensured that the product manager could carefully manage the expectations of the customer and at the same time take on their reservations such that we could prove we could overcome any issues. At one point, when we were under extreme pressure, we had to adopt some extreme programming techniques. At this time, I made sure I supported and motivated the team. Before the presentation to the customer, we rehearsed the meeting and prepared for all types of questions that could be asked. Result: the result was a great meeting with the customer. We were able to present an MVP that convinced them and answered their questions effectively, that resulted in us securing a very significant project for the company. When possible, use numbers to show what you improved and the value achieved. If this breaches the confidentiality of an employer, use adjectives. For example, we achieved an increase in quality, speed, or sales of more than a percentage figure, or use phrases such as on time, within budget, or quality expectations of stakeholders. These questions are commonly the questions that decide who gets the offer, so prepare and use the job description to try and predict what they will ask. Thank you for your time. I hope this video has been useful. There is a booklet that accompanies this video on the Doing Business in English website blog and many other job search resources. For further resources, please see our website.